Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the African contestant placement and performance in all the international pageant happened in 2025. Before ending this year, we have to focus on the African contestant placement because it is little bit dicey, and I would say the focus is literally they ignore the international pageant. I'm talking about the international pageant. They're ignoring the focus on a very high focused continent, highly you can say, which have a lot of potential in them, and they are literally ignoring uh, the contestant completely, I would say. So we will focus on, first of all, in this video about the placement of all the international pageant. What was the performances in all the international pageant by the African delegates? How many of them made into the semi-finale? Then which international pageant is by this number of semi-finale chosen? Which is the good international pageant for African delegates, and which are not so good? Or what are the key ingredients which the African delegates needs to improve from their side? Then we'll talk about my perspective about this whole scenario. So first of all, I would like to start this video by the by the result of international pageant in 2025, but I will specifically talk about the African delegates. So first comes Miss Cosmo 2025. Only one candidate was made it into the semi-finale, which was Zimbabwe. She made it into the top 10. And how many contestants from African continent participated? There were 10 countries which participated. Out of 10 countries, only one country, which was Zimbabwe, made it into the semi-finale, which was top 10. Second is Miss Universe. There were three candidates which made it into the semi-finale. Out of Okay, wait, this is like really not just shocking but sad. So, out of 18 candidates from African countries who participated, only three made it into the semi-finale. Cote d'Ivoire made to the farthest, which was she was fourth runner-up. Then Rwanda and Zimbabwe were made till top 30, which was the first cut. Then comes Miss International. Only three contestants made it into the semi-finale out of 12 countries who participated from African continent. So first was Zimbabwe. She was first runner-up. Then Angola and South Africa made it into the top 20. Then comes Miss World. In Miss World, 19 countries, African countries, made it into the top 40. Then three made it to the top 20. There is a drastic change, you can see, right? Top nine, like in top 40, 19 countries were there from Africa, but in top 20, only three made it into the second cut. Then two countries were chosen for top 8 or finalist. How many countries participated in Miss World? 24. 24 countries from Africa participated in Miss World. Then comes Miss Grand International. In Miss Grand International, again, three countries made it to the semi-finale out of nine African countries who participated in the competition. So, Ghana came third runner-up, Tanzania came fifth runner-up, and was in top 22. Then comes Miss Earth. In Miss Earth, again three countries were chosen from the African region out of 10 countries who participated from Africa. So Ethiopia made into the top 12, whereas Namibia and South Africa were made into the top 25, which was the first cut. Then comes Miss Supranational. Only two countries made into the semi-finale, which was South Africa and Zambia. They were both made into the first cut only, which was top 24 out of 8 countries who participated in this international pageant, in this Miss Supranational, Then the last one is Miss Charm. Only 3 countries participated in Miss Charm 2025, but there was no placement at all. So I have told you the placement scenario, right? What do you think? What do you all think about this placement? First of all, you can literally write down in the comment section, because now I am going to talk about the percentage wise. Now I have talked about the number wise, but now, once this is over, I am going to talk about uh, the international pageant percentage wise, which international pageant is good, which international pageant is not so good for African countries. So, in percentage wise, I'm talking. In Miss World 2025, 19 countries, 19 African semi-finalists were chosen out of 24 African delegates who participated. That means there is a 79% of placement rate. The second position goes to Miss Grand International 2025. Three African semi-finalists were chosen out of 9 African delegates who participated in the competition. That gives you a 33% of placement rate. Then comes Miss Earth 2025, and three African semi-finalists were chosen out of 10 African delegates who participated in the competition. This gave you a 30% of success rate. Then comes there's a tie. So now comes Miss International 2025. Three African semi-finalists were chosen out of 12 African delegates who participated. At the same time, in Miss Supranational 2025, two African semi-finalists were chosen out of 8 African delegates who participated in the competition. That gives you a success rate or placement rate of 25% for both the cases. It's 25%. After that comes Miss Universe 2025. Three African semi-finalists were chosen out of 18 African delegates. Can you believe this? Like 18 African delegates participated. Only 3 African semi-finalists were made it into the semi-finale. Only 3 in top 30. Uh, Fine. That gives you a placement rate of 16.7%. After that comes Miss Cosmo 2025. Um, one African semi-finalist, only one African semi-finalist were chosen out of 10 African delegates who participated in the competition. That gives you a placement rate of 10%. But this was not the worst. The worst is Miss Charm 2025. Only 3 African delegates participated, and none of them made it into the semi-finale. Zero African semi-finalists were chosen out of 3 African delegates who participated in the competition, which gives it a 0% placement rate. So it is not just sad. I mean, it is not just shocking. It is so sad to even see this percentage. And why I'm telling you this is sad, it's because if you will see, even in Miss World, which has 79% of placement rate, right? But that 79% of placement rate or success rate is for the first cut, which is for top 40. Top 40. This is not a good way of comparison, right, with other international pageant, because the first cut is always top 20, top 15, top 25, something like that. So we'll compare all Miss World with other international pageant. It is actually, and will be unbiased, it will take the second cut of Miss World 2025, which is top 20. So if you will take top 20, it will be, then you will realize how sad it is, because in Miss World 2025, only 3 candidates made it into the top 20. only three again, and that gives us it a placement rate of 12.5%. Only 12.5. That means it is just better than Miss Charm and Miss Cosmo, which has chosen zero as well and one African semi-finalist respectively. So, is it actually good? Questionable. So, I have talked about the number. I have talked about the percentage of placement. Now we'll talk about what is the reason behind this, because I am not very happy with this number or placement or percentage even. I'm not convinced, because why I'm saying this is the performances is are top notch. Okay, the performances are top notch. I can understand if they perform bad in Passerella. I could imagine that, okay, because of those reasons, they might have not been selected, or they might have not been moved into the semi-finale because of bad Passerella. Okay, because okay, fine, they were not having the good access of good trainers, coaches. I would have understood that, but I will never understand that an African delegate will give you a bad closed door interview. I cannot, buy that thing. It's just ridiculous to even imagine that the African delegate gave you a bad closed door interview. That's not I'm going to believe unless and until I really see that happening. So fine. That closed door interview in many international pageant kept as a secret. Okay, fine. It's their way of doing that, conducting that. I respect that. But if you are literally selecting three candidates, one candidate, no candidate at all, out of 10 candidates, 15 candidates, 20 candidates who are participating from a single continent, then you have to justify that. Then you have to justify that. And okay, fine. Latin countries, then few, Asian countries or even European countries may be better than Passerella. I can buy that. Okay, I can buy that because we have seen that Latin countries just they nail the stage performances. So I would have buy that. But are you saying because these international pageant made the promises that there is 60% of closed door interview rate and then only 40% of stage performances uh, criteria. So if you are doing that, then you have to show us the closed door interviews, then only we are going to buy that. Because if you are choosing, let's say, 10 Latin countries and only 2 African countries, then you have to show that those I don't know, 10 Latin countries were better than those other 8 African countries in closed door interview as well. No way I'm going to believe all of you that these African delegates were outsmarted by the Latin countries, European countries, even some Asian countries. Because let's be honest, these countries, most of the countries, I mean, their first language is not English. Okay, their first language is not English, and I have seen how top five countries, when they choose the non-English speakers, how they speak. It's worst. It's really you start questioning these international pageant, that why they moved so like progress so far in the competition if they don't know how to speak. Countries like Vietnam, Thailand, um, then Latin countries, they go and they speak anything. It does not sometimes even answer the question, and at worst, it does not even make sense sometimes. So, and I have seen in one or two cases, and that was really traumatizing for me. Some Asian countries were there. They started crying in the while answering the question. So because they were not able to speak. So They played the emotional card, and it was so embarrassing to see that the top five delegates who moved so far, but they are not able to answer the question. So if you are saying that these 8 or 10 Latin countries, Asian countries are better, they outsmart the African delegates, then you have to show that. Then you have to show that, because if you're going to tell me that these, if you're going to tell me that the Latin countries outsmarted the African delegates in Pasarela, I'm going to buy that. I believe that thing. Or if you're going to tell me um, that the facial expression thing is done better by Asian countries, I'm going to believe that. Okay, fine, I believed that. But Q&A, because most of the international pageant love to say this, that we prioritize Q&A, we prioritize intelligence, we prioritize the smartness of the candidate. So if you are saying that, then show us, because the result is not coming across like that. So if you are, you have to walk the talk. Simple. So this is the thing. This is the fault of the international pageant. What I believe is, what African countries should do is that they should give more sponsorship, more branding, more advertisement, more money. I don't know, maybe more votes, because I think that they are being ignored because they are not bringing that much of money with them. Nowadays, it's everything about monetization. Everything is about, how much money you are bringing into the contest. It sounds ridiculous to me, but it also makes sense somehow. It is not very morally correct thing, but at the same time, I do understand. I do understand that where they are coming from. Fine. That is another thing which I wanted to talk about, where these African countries can improve, and that is branding. That part is branding, advertisement, monetization. Simple. Okay, so that is done. Um, then then comes the last part, which is, I believe, this is my just personal thinking. So I believe that the, like, another way to cope up with this thing is that African countries should organize their own pageant. Not, I don't mean that only African countries should participate in that contest. I'm not saying that the entire world, like countries around the world, can participate. But I'm talking about that, like how MGI started in Thailand, means Asia. How Miss Universe started in USA, means America. How Miss Supranational or Miss World started in Europe, in um, Poland and UK respectively, which is in Europe. So how that happened? Likewise, some countries in Africa should start a pageant where the headquarters should be in the African region. The CEO should be from African region. Hopefully, that CEO will be a millionaire or billionaire woman. That would even make it better. But yeah, that should, I hope that that should happen one day, and only then we'll see that the it will be more fair, you can say unbiased, because they they will understand they will have their own criteria, own judgment, own fairness. So I think that this should happen one day, and yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about, because if you will be dependent on other people, other countries, I don't think you will be satisfied ever. I will not. So even I, as an Indian, I hope that Indian, like some good pageant should start from India, where we perform, where our candidates will be respected. Their performances will be respected. But it's okay. It will happen someday or the other. I believe that for sure. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. I hope that in near future we'll see more black women, more African representative chosen in the top, at least in the first cut. It's a joke. I think it's kind of, they kind of create this delusion in our minds to show the fairness, how fair they are. It's a I don't know how to put it into words. They they are intentionally doing that. I sometimes feel that, to show that we are unbiased, we are not racist, we'll pick, two or three candidates in the top 20. Will move forward one or two again candidates from those three or four candidates to the top 10. Then in top 5 we'll put one black queen or one black African representative. I think it's so. I don't know. This is what sometimes I feel, that they are intentionally doing that to show fairness, But in reality, they are not. They are racist. They are discriminatory, and they don't. They are just doing it for the sake of doing it. That's what I believe in. But it's okay. We'll hope for a good future. We'll hope for a better, fair, and unbiased future for all the queens. And yeah, let's wish them all the luck for from my side, that it happens, that good, hardworking queen and their performances will be respected despite of where they are coming from, how much money they are bringing. So that's it. I will not. This video has already been so long, so I will not exaggerate it more. So I will end this video here, and thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. If you want to share your opinion, if you agree or disagree with me, show your love in the comment section, show your feedback, show your opinions. Even if you don't agree, please write down something in the comment section so that I can understand that you are listening to me, you want to engage, you are a pageant fan, and I would love to know your opinion as well. A counter opinion, maybe. Everything everything works. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll meet in the next video.